Hey, my friends, we are here with you again to talk about, once again, what is going on with SNAP. And I know that we said we were going to be talking about the November freebies and deals roundup today, but once again, there is more chaos in the SNAP program that we need to follow. And I know how frustrating that is. I actually wanted to thank you guys before we get started because a lot of you brought this to my attention today. I was really impressed with the number of emails that we got tipping us off to some of the things that we're changing today. That really helped our team out. So thank you for those of you who decided to send us those tips. It was awesome. So by now, you've probably seen a lot of the confusion. We're going to be going over a lot of things today. So just to recap, in case you didn't see it, there was a Truth Social post by President Trump that created some uncertainty about whether or not SNAP was going to come out. The White House has said some things. The USDA has said some things. There's a new court filing. There's just a lot going on. So we're going to dive into all of that today in a pretty good amount of detail. We're going to do our best to make sure that we cover all of the things today. So let's dive in and get that started. Sorry, I was just really quickly checking the tech. Okay. So for anyone who has somehow reached this point and doesn't know what's going on, we're just going to do like a really quick 6-sentence recap of what's been going on so far. So Congress failed to pass the necessary appropriation bills to keep the government open, so the federal government shut down. The USDA originally announced that no SNAP would be paid in November because of that lack of appropriations. Then 2 lawsuits were filed, and a federal judge issued an emergency order that said they had to use those contingency funds to pay SNAP either in full or partially. Now, if they were going to make a full payment, that was due on Monday. If they're going to make a partial payment, that's supposed to be due on Wednesday. And yesterday, we were on here live talking to you guys about how the USDA responded to that lawsuit by saying that they would fully drain the contingency fund to provide partial SNAP benefits. So that's where we were yesterday, and we thought we were past this chaos, but sadly we were wrong. And I am going to try very hard to keep my sarcasm in check because that's the language I speak when I'm stressed. So we know that early Tuesday morning, President Trump posted that SNAP benefits would only go out, quote, when the radical left Democrats open up the government, is what he said. He said that SNAP benefits would only be going out then and not before, is how he worded it. And again, this is on social media. Social media is not an official government website, of course, but that's where this was posted. And this sparked instant chaos and confusion because we had just been told yesterday that partial SNAP was going out, and then it sounded like that was no longer going to happen. So we've done a lot of digging on this today. Interesting. Are you able to see my video okay, guys? It looks like I'm not frozen on any of the screens that we're seeing over here. So if you continue having problems with the stream, just let us know. Hopefully that's not an issue for anyone else. Okay. So hang on. I feel like we jumped ahead a little bit, didn't we? No. Okay, sorry. Try not to highlight comments in the middle because it confuses me, okay? We got Kaylee here helping us again today with the chat. So, okay, so after Trump made that post and all of the news outlets started to go, crazy with these headlines about what was going to happen or not happen, we started to get more feedback from the White House, and there were some mixed messages there. At first, Bloomberg reported that a White House official would not clarify and just said to go look at the social media post. That was not encouraging news. Then White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said, quote, the administration is fully complying with the court order. CNN quoted her as saying, we're getting that partial payment out the door as much as we can and as quickly as we can. So a lot of these statements from the White House are indicating that it's still going to be coming. So that's encouraging. They also said, I thought this was interesting because obviously she was asked about what was the deal with the social media post. And the quotes that I saw, Bloomberg quoted her as saying, "We are digging into a contingency fund that is supposed to be for emergencies, catastrophes, for war. And the president does not want to have to tap into this fund in the future." And that's what he was referring to in his Truth Social post, which I guess, yeah, I'm not going to issue my opinion on that. And then The Hill quoted her as saying, or sorry, The Hill said, asked how Trump's earlier post did not amount to defying a court order, Levitt said the president was referring to future SNAP payments. Quote, "He does not want to have to keep tapping into an emergency fund and depleting it in the case of a catastrophe in this country. He wants to have those funds preserved as they should be." So, based on what's coming out of the White House right now, it sounds like they're still moving forward with that plan to partially fund SNAP. Now, there is a lawsuit in the works that is trying to force the full funding of that, and there's some other important news coming out of the USDA. So don't leave just yet, because we still have a lot of ground to cover. But I wanted to get this out of the way first, because we got so many emails from so many of you that were so concerned based on that statement that was made on social media. And I totally understand, because I freaked out when I saw it too. So I want to make sure that we got that at least clarified. So now let's talk about the court motion that's going on. So we know that there were 2 lawsuits filed, and the one in Rhode Island resulted in that order to send partial or full or partial SNAP payments. And that's what's kind of got this ball rolling again. Now, the plaintiffs in the Rhode Island case wasted no time this morning getting another motion filed to enforce a temporary restraining order. And the attorneys in this case actually pointed to that Truth Social post as part of their complaint in the case. They said that the administration's decision to send only partial payments is not consistent, that's a quote, with the judge's original ruling. They are also asking the court to force the government to release the full SNAP funding in November, probably by tapping into the Section 32 funds that we discussed in greater detail yesterday. I'm going to try really hard not to go over everything I said in previous days every time, because I know we're going over a lot of the same material every day, and I don't want to bore those of you who show up every day to hear this stuff. So if you have any clarifying questions later on, let me know. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue. So they said that the defendant's decision not to provide full SNAP benefits, even though they have the funds available to do so, and even though switching to partial payments at this late date will cause devastating delay, is arbitrary and capricious. And that was something that the judge had said in his previous ruling, that any decision could not be arbitrary or capricious. So I understand why they're using those words there. Now, the attorneys for the coalition wrote, in addition to in addition to threatening defiance of the court's order, the post makes plain what plaintiffs explained in their motion to enforce. Defendants are withholding SNAP benefits from individuals and families who need vital food assistance for partisan political gain. And I saw that quoted in a news report. That wasn't actually in the legal filing here. And I suppose this is a good point to remind you that I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a researcher who reads this stuff. So most of this that I'm telling you is just direct quotes from the documentation that I found today. I know a lot of people aren't linking to those original sources. I think, Kaylee, if you want to drop the link to that so they can read it themselves if they want to. I think you guys should always have the original sources for things like this. I think it's important to make sure that everyone's able to see that stuff. So basically, there's going to be another hearing in this case on Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. They're going to go back before the judge, and we'll see what happens then as far as possibly compelling the full payment of SNAP or anything like that. But I wanted you to know that there is another hearing in the works. People are still working on getting you the help that you need. So that is hopefully good news. And let's see, what else do we have today? Because I know there's a lot. Oh, yeah, okay. So meanwhile, the USDA has moved forward with sending the official guidance to the states on how to process this recalculation. And this administration loves to use social media. So USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins posted this on the social media platform X. She said, that, quote, this will be a cumbersome process, including revised eligibility systems, state notification procedures, and ultimately delayed benefits for weeks, but we will help states navigate those challenges. Now, they also published a whole bunch of guidance on the USDA website with information about how exactly this is going to go. And I was not really thrilled with what I saw there, and I'm going to try to break it down to you for you to the best of my ability. But again, I want to remind you that I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a researcher. I've been doing this for 12 years. This is not legal advice or anything like that. Okay, just full disclaimers so that you guys are all on the same page with me here. So in this document, they're sending this to the states, basically telling the states what they have to do to recalculate the benefits for all 42 million households that get SNAP, which is going to be an insane undertaking. Now, the Food and Nutrition, this is a quote, the Food and Nutrition Service is reducing SNAP maximum allotments to 50% of the eligible household's current allotment for November. Okay? Now, there's a lot of math involved in how SNAP is calculated, and I, honest to goodness, hope that I'm reading this wrong. I don't think I've ever hoped this much that I am wrong. But the way that it's worded here, I can even pull this up for you over here. So this is on the USDA website, okay? And it says over here, sorry, this is on another screen, so I got to get kind of creative with how I look at this. Yeah, so it says they're reducing SNAP allotments to 50% in accordance with this law right here, 7 CFR 271.7, okay? And like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I went over to the ECFR site to see what that rule says, okay? And this is where we start falling down the rabbit hole into the details, but I think it's really important that you guys understand this. Under here, when we see reduction method, okay, it says, if a reduction in allotments is deemed necessary, the maximum SNAP allotments for all household sizes shall be reduced by a percentage specified by FNS. So in this case, 50%, right? And then it says, for example, they give the example of a 25% reduction. And then they say that the maximum SNAP allotments for the household would be reduced. And then 30% of the household's net income would be deducted from the reduced maximum SNAP allotment amount. That is where it gets complicated because the math gets really kind of distressing really fast. And we're going to hop back over to my presentation here because I made a little chart. And honestly, I think I'm probably getting ahead of myself because I think this wasn't going to come up for, oh no, here we go. All right, I was right. So I hope that I'm misunderstanding this, I have to tell you. But from what I read and the way I understand it, after all the research I've done on this program, what they're going to do, the first step is cutting that maximum allotment in half. So for a family of 4 right now, last month, the maximum allotment for a family of 4 was $994. So the new tables that they've issued say that that maximum allotment is going to be $497, okay? Now, the 30% of your net income is probably not changed since last month for most people. Whether you're getting that income from Social Security or a job or whatever, most of you haven't had a 50% reduction in income. So assuming that that doesn't change, let's say in this hypothetical example here that our family of 4 has an income where 30% of their income after all the deductions and all the complex math and everything is taken out, let's say their 30% amount was $480. Well, before, their SNAP allotment might have been something like $514. But if you reduce that same share of income from this reduced maximum allotment, you get $17, right? Because the income isn't changing. It's the maximum allotment that went down. That is a lot less than 50% of the benefits. But the way that it's worded in relying on that one rule and what that one rule says, like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I did a video not too long ago on how SNAP math is done. So if you saw that, you'll understand like how the deductions work and that this isn't like strictly just a third of your income. It's your income after, the household deduction and the medical expense deduction and all of that is taken out. So hopefully it's not going to be as bad as I'm afraid that it's going to be. But Um, yeah. Hopefully I'm wrong. Like I have never hoped that more. But I wanted you guys to see this because a lot of people are saying, oh, it's a 50% cut. It's a 50% cut. But on the USDA website, it says right there in that highlighted bit, let's see if I can grab the whole thing, that they are reducing it by 50% in accordance with that rule. So, anyway, I don't even know how to wrap that up, guys. That's just not. I guess the good news there is that the ruling that the USDA said, they also said that in applying the reduction, like you can't go below the minimum benefit table. And the minimum benefit table after the adjustments, here, I guess I should show you guys this too. This is the newly adjusted maximum tables for everybody that the USDA sent to the states today. And I compared it to what it was before, and it's pretty much half. In some cases, they're rounding down. If it would have been, 50 cents, then they rounded down. So this is the maximum allotment under the new changes, and the new minimum is all the way down here, and it's $12. So the least anybody's going to get is going to be $12 under this reduction. Even if the new math that I just showed you were to reduce it to zero, you're still going to get $12 because that's in the emergency rules. It says that nobody's going to go below the minimum. So, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. I really hate bringing you bad news, and I have really struggled with all of this research today. Usually I feel like I'm a little bit more put together here when I'm live with you, but this is just not the happiest video we've ever done. The other thing they said in the documentation that they sent out to the states was that people who qualify for expedited SNAP must still get their benefits within 7 days, but those payments will be cut to obviously 50% of, what they would be. And then the benefit cut doesn't change anyone's certification period. Households still have to be recertified or approved on the regular schedule, and states are responsible for all of that processing, even while benefits are reduced or not happening. I've got one more. I'm pretty sure this is the last bit of bad news in this particular presentation. But the USDA also decided to tell grocery stores that they could not offer special discounts to SNAP shoppers. Now, I had really liked seeing all of the stores step up and try to find ways to help people who were struggling. And I saw a lot of stores that were rolling out discounts specifically for people who weren't going to be getting their SNAP benefits. But the USDA sent out this very strongly worded reminder, and you can see it on USDA.gov right now. And they said, in all caps no less, that you have to sell eligible foods at the same prices and on the same terms and conditions to SNAP EBT shoppers as other customers, except for sales tax. And they also said that offering discounts or services only to SNAP customers is a SNAP violation, which means those retailers could get in serious trouble and possibly lose their ability to accept SNAP benefits in the future if they proceed with those discounts, which is really disheartening, I think. I had some concern when this was brought to my attention yesterday. We were trying to figure out what this would mean for the SNAP discounts that we have listed on our website. Now, it says you have to offer eligible foods at the same prices. So I'm not sure how that would affect things like Amazon and Walmart. It does say offering discounts or services only to SNAP customers is a SNAP violation. So I know those programs also cover things like SSI though, so maybe they're safe. But as far as the museum discounts and things like that we have in our list, those wouldn't be affected because those aren't SNAP authorized retailers. They're just people who accept SNAP cards as a way of showing your low income status. So most of the things in our EBT list I know are completely fine. The only ones I'm unsure about are the ones where the company offering it also sells food, and we'll be following up. We'll at least be following carefully the announcements made by Amazon and Walmart. I don't intend to reach out to USDA for clarification on that, I don't think. Besides which, during the government shutdown, they're not really answering press inquiries anyways. So, yeah. Now, the reason that they're saying that about the discounts is because of the equal treatment rule, which is supposed to protect you from discrimination and make sure that people aren't picking on you or charging you more or making your life harder because you use an EBT card. In this case, it's definitely, I think, not working in your favor. But that's what they've decided to do and enforce at this point, which, yeah. Anyway, I have opinions on that too, but that's fine. Now, quick reminder about our sponsored chapter. If you have Medicare, give these guys a call. I know things are super stressful right now and you're way more concerned about food. I have seen a lot of people talking about the food that they get from their insurance cards and their over-the-counter plans. And Chapter is the one who could help guide you on how to get the best benefits without compromising your health care. If that's an option for you or in your area, plans change all the time. So these guys are the ones who have the latest information on all of that. Now, before I dive into the chat, I do have 2 more things I want to share with you because we've been getting a lot of questions about them. So we have our free food bank cookbook available at this link. We've been getting a lot of questions about this because it's still for sale in our store. And I'm not entirely sure how to adjust the price on that because of other obligations I'm under as far as how this is framed. But if you go to this link, you can get the exact same thing that you would get through the store. And all you have to do is enter your email address and it will give you the same stuff. And it'll also sign you up for our email list so that you can get all of our updates. Because I tell you, even if you're subscribed to this channel, even if you have notifications enabled, YouTube is not going to show you every single one of our videos. And that's not just because we have 2 channels. It's just because of the way the algorithm works. So the best way to make sure you don't miss any of our updates is to be on our email list, which you can do while also grabbing the cookbook if you would like. Now, the other thing I want to share with you is a little bit different. So those of you who have been here a while have probably heard that we have many, many different channels that I run with my team. And one of those is called HOPE. And HOPE stands for Healing, Optimism, Positivity, and Encouragement. And that's because that's what I'm working on in my own life. And so Stephanie and other members of our team have worked together to put together some amazing guided journals and other resources that are intended to help people find peace in times of stress. And I don't know about you, but I am about as stressed right now as I have ever been. So I wanted to share some of those resources with you for free at no cost. If you go to this website, hope.help, then you can grab if there's a little banner, actually I can probably just show you over here if I screen share. There's a little banner at the top of the page. And if you click this blue banner here at the top where it says get your free Hope Journal, you can click on that and then you just enter your email address and that will give you that free journal that we've put together as well, which hopefully might be able to help you out. I know times are hard right now and the information in this particular journal was very helpful for me with my anxiety. So I wanted to offer that to you too. Yeah, I think we're ready to jump into the Q&A. I feel like I'm forgetting something, though. Do you know what I'm forgetting? I swear. Oh, yeah, that's right, because right before we jumped on, I was editing the website. Hang on one second. I have one more thing to show you before we get into the Q&A. So there are a few more states who have stepped up to say that they're going to help regardless of what the federal government is doing. So we've added to our list here, we just added Alaska. They're going to be putting $5 million towards SNAP on a weekly schedule for people in their state. And then we also just added Maryland as well, said that they're going to use $62 million to help fund SNAP in their state too. So we are continuing to update this list. I have not seen any of these states say anything changing their mind about things because things are still in so much chaos at the federal level. So if you want to know what's going on a state-by-state basis, go to lowincomerelief.com, find this post. Keely can probably drop a link for you as well in the chat. But anyway, wanted to share that with you too before I forgot. And now let's hop back over here and we'll dive into the chat. Okay, sorry guys. Darlin, it just popped up on my screen. You mistyped that link. It's hope.help with a P at the end.
That wasn't me. I think that was
Oh,
else on your team.
that might have been Stephanie then. Hi, Stephanie, if you're here. Okay. All right. Sorry, I just assumed that was you. Thank you. I appreciate you correcting that link. That's awesome. So, okay, now let's go ahead and jump into that chat. What do you got, Kaylee? I know you've been tracking like 9 million things over there. While she's looking for the first question, I just want to let you guys know that after this live stream, we're going to be doing something we've never done before on our Hope channel, where we're putting out encouraging news and good news stories. My Kaylee girl over here, who's been assisting me, is actually going to host her first live stream. So we'll post a link to that as well at the end of our video here. It should automatically bring you over if you're interested in seeing what she has to share today. Why don't we have color behind these questions? It is really hard to read them like that. Let's see. Is that better? That might be better. I think, yeah, no, we'll do it that way. Okay, sorry about that. Where did the money already in the budget for SNAP fully funded until December 15th, just prior to the shutdown, go? So I am not aware of that. I know that the USDA was saying before the shutdown began that contingency reserves were, could be made available in the incidence of a shutdown. And then shortly after the shutdown started, that information was removed from the USDA website, and they started saying that those contingency funds were not available. We know that in the main contingency fund, there was only about, did they say $6 billion? It seems weird to say only $6 billion. But they said that they need more like 9 to fully fund SNAP. And so the court ordered that they drain the SNAP contingency fund and encouraged them to dip into the Section 32 contingency fund, which the USDA has declined to do. So that's kind of, I think, what that hearing is going to be about on Thursday when they go back and the plaintiffs are going to try to force the full payment of SNAP. I think that's going to be what that discussion is about. So hopefully we'll know more about that on Thursday. So.
Question in the moderation chat.
What was that?
The question that wasn't on the chat is in the live moderation chat.
Oh, I can't read it. You gotta read it to me. Okay, hang on. All right. Apparently, some of you have been really great about asking questions and leaving tips before the live starts, which usually I encourage, but it turns out that disappears for us as soon as the live begins. So hang on. Kaylee just sent me one that said, that was sent before, so I can't highlight it here on screen. But somebody said that my lasagna love match said to let her know anything more I might need. Do you think it's okay if I ask for stuff to make a cake for my son's birthday? Unsure if she meant a meal or what. That is awesome. So I follow a lot of lasagna love pages, and sometimes volunteers get overwhelmed with special requests. So generally, unless your person asks you if there's anything else you need, you shouldn't make any requests. Clearly, in this case, she is asking if there's anything else you need. So it's okay to have that conversation. But as a general rule for anyone else listening, it's generally a bad practice to ask for extras unless they offer first. Now, given that she offered, and she probably, everybody's pretty aware of the chaos that's going on in SNAP and with so many people, I don't think there's any harm in just politely being like, hey, my kid's birthday coming up. Would you mind throwing in, can I get a cake mix or whatever it is that you might need? I think if you handle it politely, there's never any harm in asking. I have seen screenshots of conversations where people ask and then they get snotty if the answer is no. I know you guys wouldn't do that. But I think that's why sometimes they're sensitive to requests. But I think you should be fine with that as long as you handle it politely. So, alrighty. What else do we got? What does the purple crown mean next to people's names? Is that the same thing you were asking me before we went live, Kaylee?
No. They asked this before the live and then twice after.
Okay. Well, I know Kaylee was asking me before we went on that some people had a number 1 or a number 2 next to their name. To my understanding, that's just how frequently people have been engaging in the chat, and it's kind of a way that they recognize top fans, which I think is really kind of a fun thing. I guess you earn points when you chat in. That's something YouTube tracks. It's not something that we do, but I think that's really fun. And I just clicked over here to... Oh, there's fun stuff over there. Okay. Sorry, I'm finding new features in my tool, but I can explore that later when you guys aren't watching me talk. So let's see. Do y'all think Head Start and Section 8 is next? Okay, so we've been doing videos 6 days a week, and I do not know what day it was. Maybe you can hop on, Kaylee, maybe you can hop on the channel and look for the video. But it was called something like Who's Getting Paid in November or something like that. I think we did it last week.
Did a website. I'll drop the link.
Oh, yeah, and we have it on the website too.
Yeah.
But we went through all the different programs and broke down like what the current status of funding was. We do know that Section 8 has, the housing voucher program has enough to continue through December. Head Start, we've heard, is pretty spotty right now. And that's definitely, I mean, it's not good, guys. We are now tying the record for the longest shutdown today, and then once we cross into tomorrow, it'll be a record setter. I'm really tired of living in a time where we set new records on things like this. I am hoping that they reach some kind of a resolution here soon, because it's going to get, it's just going to get harder as time goes on. So I see Terry here is saying, I do believe WIC is federally funded. So they did announce yesterday that they are pulling more money out of the Section 32 contingency fund to fund WIC. Technically speaking, it's also reliant on those same appropriations bills that are supposed to fund SNAP. But because the WIC budget is so much smaller, in the court filings, I think they said it was $130 million a month instead of $9 billion a month. Because WIC is so much smaller, they've been tapping into those Section 32 contingency funds to keep that funded. So Lisa says, if the contingency fund is depleted,
Sorry.
that's okay. Do you have that one up? If I click on Lisa's really quick and answer it, can you bring this one back up in a second?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do that. Sorry, I'm not used to having multiple people clicking on things for me, so we're still learning this system over here. Kaylee's doing a great job, though. So Lisa says, if the contingency fund is depleted, how will December SNAP be paid? I don't think it will be. I think that's the case that they're going to try to make, is that if the SNAP contingency fund is gone, then I think they're going to say that they can't do anything. And I think that's probably also, and of course this is all conjecture on my part, but I think that's probably also why those plaintiffs are going back to court on Thursday to make the case that they should use the Section 32 funds, because that fund has, I don't have the numbers in front of me, so don't quote me on this, but I think they said it has like 28 billion in it, which a lot of that's used for like school meal programs, WIC, child nutrition funds, and things like that. But that would be at least a couple of months of SNAP. And really, they just need to solve the shutdown. It's driving me nuts. But I'm sorry, that's not a more optimistic answer. I have the same policy with you guys that I have with my own kids. Kaylee knows very well that she should never ask a question she doesn't want the answer to, because I will always tell her the truth. And I'm going to do the same to you guys. Even if the truth is hard, I think it's important that you know it. So I apologize that isn't a happier answer. I wish I had better news. But I'm always going to tell you what I know to be true. So, all right, what about that one that you had? How does a partial SNAP payment work? It's going to be a logistical nightmare. And the USDA has said that, multiple nonprofits have said that it's going to be chaos. So I was really interested when the guidance referred to this rule, and I'll just pull it up here for you again. This, what is this? This is Section 2, or sorry, I lost the title of it somewhere. But there's this rule has existed for a while on what they do if they have to do a partial funding. And so, like, they have the rules laid out for it, but logistically, for the states who have to go in and recalculate all of this using their very old technology, it's going to take a lot of time, and it's going to be really frustrating. And I know we went over some pretty depressing math a little bit ago, but if you want to if you missed that and you want to rewind and see what those partial payments might look like, to my understanding, you can do that. I don't want to pull it up again because it wasn't fun for me to say the first time, and I know it's not great news, and I don't want to re-traumatize everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh, do you already got one? I heard you click right as I started talking. You are just on this, aren't you? Okay, I will stop looking at the chat since you apparently own it now, Kaylee. Okay. Why would retirement be stopped? Yeah, so retirement shouldn't be affected. Social Security is funded completely differently. So you should be fine. If you're talking about Social Security retirement, you should be fine. They've said repeatedly that that's not going to be affected. What can I do if I have been dropped from SNAP? I am trying to get SSDI. I can't work and have done the medical evaluation. Okay, you can file an appeal. If you're still within your appeal window, absolutely file an appeal. States were told pretty clearly in that court order that they still need to be processing applications and appeals and hearings and all of the things during this time. So you should be able to appeal and make your case. And I know those, like, there's all the talk of work requirements and things like that that are going on. But if you have the medical paperwork to get SSDI, you should have enough medical paperwork to get yourself exempted from those requirements as well. So, and once you get SSDI, then those work rules shouldn't apply to you anyway. So I would take that same paperwork that you're using to push for SSDI, and I would take that to the SNAP office and file an appeal and see if they can get you back on those benefits. All right, Linda says, is this for all states? What's going on? So generally here at Low Income Relief, the information I'm going to give you is going to be nationwide, and if it's not, I will make sure to specify. The only thing we went over today that is state specific is when I brought up this list and showed you the new states that are stepping in to do things in their area. So this guidance here, this is all state specific. But other than this, everything else that we have talked about is happening at the federal level at this point. So, yeah. How bad is this going to be for diabetics? Yeah, I mean, it's not great, obviously. I know we have seen so much cutting of different programs. I know there are nutrition incentive programs and things that usually step in to help diabetics. I know a lot of food banks are trying to find ways to accommodate special diets too during this time. If you have Medicaid, some Medicaid plans have, at least in the past, had nutrition benefits that may be able to assist. And of course, if you have Medicare, I will always refer you over here to Chapter because they'll know if you can get some sort of benefit. If it exists, they know about it. So I would call them if you're on Medicare. But I'm definitely worried about a lot of people too. Yeah, let's see, what's next? Are there still senior community boxes going out? So that is another program that has been being hacked at. I think they are still going out in some areas, but I also think, I don't know, I'd have to do some digging. That was on my list and I didn't get around to that, did I? All right, I will get back to you on this one because I need to do some digging on that. And I've got it up here on my screen, so I'll make sure to do that today. Does that mean things like the discounted memberships are done? I don't know. To be honest with you, under the guidance that they issued, it kind of sounded like it. But they did say, and this is where things get interesting, right? I always try to look at the fine print and the little notes on the things because it can change everything. So right here it says, unless you have a SNAP equal treatment waiver. So theoretically, there is a way for those retailers to get exempted from this. And with the amount of money that I know that is brought in from those memberships, I wouldn't be surprised if those companies did secure one of those waivers because, I mean, that's just what would make sense to me. They seem to trying to tread delicately with what I say here. I know a lot of big businesses were involved in, for example, funding the ballroom and things like that. So I wouldn't surprise me if some of the bigger companies were able to secure waivers. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So, yeah. Okay. What else, Kaylee? Before I start saying other things that I probably shouldn't say. Kaylee girl?
I clicked on, but.
Okay. Does this mean that double up will be gone? Double up should be fine. It's part of, that's actually part of a USDA incentive program. So, I mean, they've been promoting that forever. I guess at this time, I can't really say that anything is certain, but I think double up is going to be fine. I think. I do know that as part of the contingency stuff that some states are doing, like, is it Arizona? Arizona is sending out an extra $30 voucher that's actually kind of being managed through the Double Up Arizona network. So right now I'm thinking it's fine. Sorry, guys. I have tried really hard to keep my personal opinions off of low income relief and all the time I've been running this, and I feel like I've gotten awfully close to that line lately. All right. What about babies that need medicated formula that's paid for by WIC? So WIC is still being kept afloat by those Section 32 contingency funds, so they should be fine for now. If all they do is use that money for WIC, it should last for a very long time. So there's that.
Oh, hold on, sorry, that was the wrong one.
Let's see.
Oh, there it is.
Is the reduction in allotment sent out by the USDA for just November or permanent? That is an excellent question. According to what they said in this announcement, let's see if I can bring it back up here really quick. If I do this, is it going to work? I hope. Yeah, okay. So it says for November 2025. So as of now, it says it's effective November 1st, and it says for November 2025. So it doesn't appear to be permanent in any way. But effectively what they're saying is that there's no appropriation for SNAP until the government reopens. So a lot of what we see going forward is going to be determined by whatever Congress does to get the government reopened. So hopefully they'll get that done soon, and hopefully it will be back to normal and everything will be fine. Just did that one, babe. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, No. So I did hear that SHIP can help with Medicaid. Let me look at that really quick. I do apologize. I know I have like a research list that's like a mile long. And I've been meaning to get to a lot of things, but this breaking news just keeps taking everything sideways. We're spending so much time just trying to keep up with what is going on and what's coming out in the break of the moment. And so at the point where all of this crossed my desk this morning, I was actually like 2 hours in on a totally different video that I was preparing for you for today. It does look like SHIP will help you with Medicaid decisions as well. And let's see, how do you get a hold of your local SHIP? I used to have this number memorized, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Yeah, if you go to shiphelp.org, then they can help you with, it sounds like Medicaid as well. So that's your state health insurance assistance program that can help you with that. And I'll keep looking for other resources as well, leaving that tab open too so that I can remember to do additional research on that when we're off of here. I will have time because Kaylee's going to be the one that's doing the next live, so that'll be fun. All right. If the contingent, okay, we already did that one, darling. All right. Can you be reinstated if you're going through SSDI and need SNAP? So you have a window of time in which you can appeal. And if the appeal window expires, you can always reapply. So if you're getting SSDI, absolutely go back and apply for SNAP if you're removed for any reason. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Marjan. I really appreciate that. That's wonderful. Thank you for joining our community. That really helps. Did you have? Okay. Orange is asking if the government, if the payments will be retroactive when the government reopens. That is going to depend on how Congress chooses to handle things. I did see in a different report that workers who are currently furloughed are getting notices that do not mention back pay. And so a lot of this is up in the air because it's going to depend on what agreement Congress comes to, if and when they come to an agreement, which hopefully will be soon. Hopefully it will be soon. I've heard it's in the works to cut VA benefits for veterans also. Have you heard anything about this? I haven't heard anything concrete. We've been hearing for months about waste, fraud, and abuse in all sorts of different programs, and I believe it was Washington Post did a really fascinating kind of expose on what they thought was going on. I think it was Washington Post, about veterans who were getting benefits that they didn't feel they were entitled to. And after that, I did see something from the administration saying that veterans get the benefits they deserve and stuff. So I haven't seen anything really concrete saying that they're going to be messing with VA benefits. Hopefully not. I hate when I can't give you guys like absolute concrete answers, but as we've seen in the last just 48 hours, we get definite news about something and then it just kind of, we get whiplash, honestly. My working title for today's video was whiplash because it just feels like we're told one thing and then we're told the opposite of that thing, and it's just so chaotic, right? So it's hard for me to make definitive promises about much of anything at this point. Yes, Fabiana, you've got this right. You're getting, there's a 50% reduction, and we talked about how that calculation is going to work when we were going through the presentation, and you can rewind to see that math if you're interested. It looks like it will be less than 50%, but that's just based on my reading. And then in December, if it's still closed, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think it's very likely that that those benefits would be sent out since they're saying they're completely depleting the contingency fund. So, yeah, Scarlett, I do apologize. I saw, slow mode. I know slow mode is not much fun. We only recently started doing this because in the last week or so, we have just been absolutely flooded by trolls who have been very mean to our audience and said some pretty offensive things. So we're kind of going slower so that our moderators have a chance to keep the comments in check and make sure that everybody's kind of safe here. It also makes sure that we get the chance to answer your questions because our tool messages expire after so long. And we I think it was middle of last week, we had a video where we just couldn't even catch questions before they were disappearing. So trying to make sure that that we're able to get everybody's questions answered. So yeah, I have no way of knowing this. The answer to this question. It's I know there's elections going on in a lot of places today, and ultimately it's up to Congress though on when SNAP is going to be made whole, unless we see something from that court decision on Thursday. I guess it's also in the court's hands a little bit there. All right. Is a plan in place to fund DSNAP without the contingency fund if a hurricane or other natural disaster strikes? That's a great question, Lisa. A lot of people don't know about DSNAP, so I appreciate that insight. I don't think so. From what we were seeing earlier, they were talking about, especially, I wish I had that pulled up in front of me so I could read you the quote from the USDA's response, because they addressed this and they were like, we're going to completely empty it and there's nothing left in there. So I don't think they have a plan at this point, and that is definitely a concern because DSNAP is incredibly important for when those disasters hit. So, all right. So we still have a little bit more time here before my Kaylee girl over here is going to go do her live on our other channel. So if you have other questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. We're kind of, I don't know if we've got a delay in our tools or something, but we're not seeing a lot come through right now. All right, what about LIHEAP? So that is also getting a little bit dicey. We have an article on our website. Let me go grab that really quick. Oh, I can hear my daughter's over there racing me to grab the link, isn't she? Let's see if I can grab this for you really quick and show you what's going on. It really depends on the state right now for a lot of this information, because different states are trying to step in and patch the gaps in what's missing from the federal funding. And some states are just like, nope, we can't do it. And other states are actually stepping up to do things. So if we come over here to low income relief and we go down to where it says fiscal year 2026 update, we have a breakdown of what states are doing what. And I just updated this myself the other day. Some states are now starting to delay those applications and not even take them because they don't know if the funding is coming in. Other states are using leftover funds or state funding to get those benefits sent out. And you can find this on our website at lowincomerelief.com/LIHEAP if you would like more information on that. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. J. Brown says, why can't I access my cash portion? I thought only food stamps were affected. I have no idea why you can't access your cash portion. That should still be fully operational. In fact, a lot of states are stepping up to offer extra cash benefits because that's funded differently and they have more control over how those funds are dispersed. So I would follow up with your card issuer and see if there's some sort of technical issue. I know we've had a lot of EBT outages where systems have gone down for maintenance or other things. But that would be my first thought, is that maybe there's some sort of technical issue happening that's preventing you from accessing those benefits. Oh my goodness! Angela's melting moments. Thank you. That is wonderful. I really appreciate that. That really helps. You are awesome. Thank you. I saw a question in here just a second ago. Cheryl Smith says, "What's up with the $50?" Sorry, I clicked over you again, Kaylee. I'm not used to having your help. I apologize. There are two different programs right now that are offering $50 in assistance. The first one is GoPuff, and they are offering 2 waves of groceries. So you can get a coupon for $25 in free groceries and free delivery, and they're doing 2 of those in the month of November for a total of $50 in relief. And then the Propel app is also issuing $50 cash cards basically to certain SNAP users who use their app, just as a form of relief during the shutdown. So that's what's up with those. Did you have another one you were going to click on since I cut you off? Okay. Let's see. People are working and money is going into government who is not paying anything. Where is all of that money going? That's a great question. I know, yeah, taxes definitely haven't been reduced to accommodate the things that aren't getting paid out, but I don't have a good answer for you that isn't going to be highly sarcastic and probably inappropriate for our channel, so we should move on. Are you laughing at me, darling? I heard that. I gotta tell you, it's getting harder and harder to like keep my calm demeanor as we go through these videos because things are just getting crazier. Maybe during the Q&A, write a short fact on the other half of the screen so people don't ask repeated questions. That is awesome. I appreciate this information about the scrolling information at the bottom of the screen. That is really helpful. And if anyone else who's watching, I can see we have a lot of people on here with us right now. I'd love your opinion about the ticker at the bottom. That's something that we added because I was hoping it would help with some of those repeated questions and concerns, because we do these presentations and they take up like the first 20 minutes and then I just talk to you guys for like an hour. And I know that that gets really confusing for people who are just tuning in. But if that ticker is not actually helpful, we could do maybe, like you're saying, just like a static image, or we could evaluate other ways of doing this to make it more useful to you. I want you to know that everything we do when we set up these streams and we do our research is intended to help you. So if it's not actually helpful, that's definitely feedback I want to know. And I'm always open to tips on how to make this more useful for you, because ultimately we just want to make sure that you're getting the help that you need during this time and all the time. That's why we're here at Low Income Relief. So love the feedback, really appreciate that. And I will work on seeing how we can implement that in the future. Let's see, when receiving SSDI and you receive an inheritance that it can't be no more than okay, that is an SSI limit. Social Security disability insurance is based on your work history and your condition, and it's not based on your income or your assets or anything like that. The other program is called SSI, or Supplemental Security Income, and that is a needs-based program. So that one has income and asset limits. And a lot of people get really confused about which one they have. So we did a video a little bit ago to kind of help people figure out whether it's SSDI or SSI. If you have SSDI, you don't need to worry about that inheritance. You're going to be fine. If you have SSI, you need to be very, very vigilant about it, because a lot of people receive an inheritance or they buy an insurance policy or something and it kicks them over that asset limit, and then they don't find out until the Social Security sends them an overpayment notice. And that gets really, really hard, really, really fast. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you know like which one you're on and you can not have to worry about it. Let's see. I love the ticker. Oh, good. I'm glad that's helpful. I liked it too, but I also know that I read ridiculously fast. So I don't know. I really love getting feedback on some of those things. Let's see. So people that pay taxes still qualify for benefits too. I mean, there's all sorts of different benefits programs out there, so it would really depend on which one you're asking about. But yeah. Okay. How do we get extra cash benefits or food deliveries for the elderly? Okay, so cash benefits is harder. The main source of cash support for the elderly is going to be Social Security, whether that's retirement, disability, or SSI. For food deliveries, there are all sorts of programs that do that, and we have a separate video. Maybe Kaylee can go. You're super busy. Never mind. Judging by the look you just gave me, I'm going to say she probably can't go grab that link. Don't sweat it, hun. We'll pull it later and we'll post it below the video or something. Sorry, I have not seen you make that face in many years. We have another video that we've done about how to get food deliveries, especially if you're homebound. And there are a lot of different options out there, but they're not very well advertised. And judging by the look I just got, I'm going to have to go grab that link and post it when we're off the live stream so that Kaylee doesn't have to go do that because I think she's kind of at her capacity at the moment. So let's see. Yeah, Gij says, trolls have been in here saying mean things. Yeah, so many of them. You would not believe. Kaylee's been helping us moderate for a little under a week now, and I think she's blocked over 50 trolls in that time. I don't know what happened that made people come out of the woodwork, but we definitely got a lot of negative attention in the last week. 57. Of course you went and counted. 57 trolls that she's blocked, and that doesn't count any that Stephanie or any of our other moderators have dealt with. So, yeah. Let's see. Seed libraries and banks. Yes. This is amazing. All sorts of actual like normal book libraries are starting to offer seed libraries as well, where you can do like an exchange and you can go pick up seeds that you can grow at home, and it's amazing. Our local library even has a place you can plant them. So there's like a community garden there if you need it. And I've seen a lot of people getting really creative, even with like apartment balconies and different things and what they can grow. I think that's amazing because no matter how many times I have tried gardening, I cannot grow anything. I have a child that's really interested in gardening, and I'm hoping he's going to be better at it than I am because I cannot grow a plant to save my life, and I don't know why. I'm good at research. I'm not good off the computer, really. So anyway. Let's see. We do have a time limit on how long we can be on here talking with you today. I love just sitting here and chatting with you guys. This is like my new favorite thing. I consider you all my friends, but we did set up a live for Kaylee on our other channel, and she's going to be sharing an experience that she had recently. And that's going to be on our Hope channel if you're interested in going over and watching that, but that is scheduled for about a half an hour from now. So we probably only have about 10-15 minutes to answer questions before we're going to have to go get her set up for her YouTube debut. So, all right. We cannot trust the video on social media. Do we have proof they are SNAP recipients? A recipient who is scamming the program is not going to be so obvious. So there are all sorts of scam videos on social media right now. I have been spending a lot of time telling people I know personally that nobody is getting $4,000 a month in SNAP benefits because there's all these videos out there that are designed, they're rage bait. They're designed to make people mad. They're designed to elicit that response because the creator just wants the watch time, right? So please do not trust anything you see on social media right now. I encourage you to even be critical of me. I am more than happy to show you all of my sources. That's why when we're going through the slide deck, we have these lovely little screenshots showing you where I got the information. And we put articles on the website with the links to all those sources because I want you guys to know that I've actually done my homework and that you can trust the information I'm giving you. But that being said, I had a number of people send me links saying that Olive Garden was giving away free meals to people with SNAP or that Red Lobster was doing that, and neither one of those things is true. Both of those organizations have said that they are not doing that, but people are just making material and making videos and putting it out there so that they can get that watch time and build their channels. But that information is not accurate. So you have to be so careful with what you trust and what you follow, because even if you don't personally believe it, if you're watching that video, you're giving it watch time, it's going to show it to more people in the algorithm, and that is a soapbox I could stand on for days. So we should probably talk about something else because it drives me crazy. All right. Fabiana says, what's the name of the other channel? So let me go grab this live link for you really quick. Of course, now I'm going to forget the name of my own channel, so that's cool. Let's see. That would be under live, of course. Okay, so I'm going to drop the link right here to Kaylee's upcoming live stream so you guys can go watch it if you want to. I think she's going to do a great job. Let's see. So that is the upcoming stream. I just dropped it in the chat for you, where she's going to be going live. And that channel is called Hope, Healing, Optimism, Positivity, and Encouragement. And it's something, it's been a pet project of mine for a couple of years. I used to call it Your Friend Nicole, but other members of my family, like Kaylee, want to help build it up. And we all need more uplifting content and encouragement in our lives right now. I know with the amount of time I'm spending slogging through depressing and frustrating headlines, I need an outlet for more positivity, which is why we're starting to work on this. And you're seeing things like these free journals and stuff like that, because goodness knows we all need a little bit of good news. Okay, what about the EBT discounts stores situation? Yeah, so that is an evolving situation that we will be updating you on. I know right now grocers have been told that if they offer discounts, they are in danger of SNAP violations, which can compromise their ability to accept SNAP. I do not have clarification right now on what this means for like the Walmart discount, the Amazon discount, things like that. I do know that the majority of the discounts that are listed on our website are still fine. Because here's the thing, right? A SNAP violation only counts if you're a retailer that's accepting EBT benefits. So if they're not a grocer that's accepting EBT, then it doesn't affect them. So things like the museums, the zoos, the aquariums, the history centers, the bicycle repair shops, all of the non-food related EBT discounts that we found on our website should be completely fine, because like what's USDA going to do about it? They don't even accept EBT benefits. You just show them the card to prove that you qualify, right? Those should be fine. The only thing we're not sure about is those memberships to stores like Target, Walmart, and Amazon that do accept EBT. We'll have to see how that plays out. So anyway, Chapter was able to find you an amazing plan yesterday. Oh, that makes me so happy. That makes me so happy to hear. So Chapter has been sending me all sorts of great information. I mean, obviously there's limits to what they can tell me, but they've been telling me they've been helping a lot of you guys find better plans and save money and get better perks and all sorts of things. They're saving people like over $1,000 on average. So seriously, give these guys a call if you haven't yet. So yeah, okay. Can you or Kaylee type the Medicaid website you mentioned? I don't understand which. Oh yeah, no problem. I totally understand. Audio processing issues are a thing. Here, let me type that up for you. Medicaid helpline would be shiphelp.org, which I know is actually here. Let me make it clickable. I just gotta add a little thing to it. Let's see. That's the right one, right? Yes. Okay. All right, there you go. And then I saw a comment right here I want to highlight. Sorry, Kaylee, give me just a second. G Giblet says, and don't comment on videos that rage bait. It just helps them. Yes, please. I have seen so many well-intentioned people who go in and comment and they're like, that is not how this works. The algorithm can't tell if it's a good comment or a bad comment. It just sees engagement and it shows it to more people. I wish that the internet, like, it's hard, right? Because I'm a YouTuber. I know how the system works. I like making videos. I like that my videos can help a lot of people, but there are definitely a lot of people who leverage it for not so great things. And the rage bait, especially lately, just drives me insane. But again, that's my personal soapbox, so we should move on. I apologize. I keep ending up in that zone. Okay. Jocelyn says, I can't get the Lasagna Love website to work. So I know a little while ago it went down for updates. Let me see. All right, it just worked for me. Let me drop this link for you and see if this one will work for you. All right, I just dropped that in the comments. Hopefully that'll help. Ooh, yes. Redlands Redhead says, tip for anyone who may have a birthday coming up, do an online search for birthday freebies. There are so many of them. It is crazy. My daughter's over here saying Olive Garden, because that's her go-to thing. She likes the free dessert. But yeah, she's obsessed. But we have a list of birthday freebies as well on our website that we go through every once in a while to make sure that it's up to date. So there's all sorts of things that you can get if it's your birthday. That's a great addition. Hopefully a lot of you have November birthdays, because I know that help is going to be very badly needed this month. Let's see. I'm always so curious about what she's working on. I'm not used to sharing my office with anybody, so I keep looking over to see what she's doing. Let's see. Oh no! Redlands Redhead says there's bots in the comments. I know Kayla and I think Stephanie are on here trying to smash as many of the bots as they possibly can. It's hard when we are so very outnumbered. All right, NIMBY is saying, please type out the other channel's name, please, and I'm dropping that right now. The other channel is, there you go. Okay. It's possible, I see some of you saying that you're having a hard time with the Lasagna Love website. It's possible that it's just very overloaded and that they're having issues keeping up with traffic, because I think a lot of people are turning there for relief right now. So, yeah. Okay, this is just funny. I know I just said not to, no, I shouldn't click on that, right? I don't know. Yeah, we'll just delete that. That's clearly, okay. It always astounds me when people come on low income relief and then start talking about like, where's your savings? Because like, doesn't make sense to me. Oh no, I just did something terrible and I broke my entire chat. Kaylee, I hope your chat's fine because it just
working.
completely disappeared from my screen.
That
So,
happened when you refresh, it works.
oh, so you're saying you know more about my streaming tools than me now after 1 week on the job? Is that what I just heard? Okay, Sorry, I'm used to bantering with her all the time, and it's a different dynamic doing it on camera. Okay, let's see. All right. Lisa says, be careful when shopping on GoPuff. They are very expensive, and you end up only being able to buy 4 or 5 items, then you get taxes tip. Ooh. That is a good point. We know that that's an issue with things like DoorDash where they mark up not only like you have the service fees, but there's also a markup on each individual item. So do be careful with that. I know with the coupon code, you're supposed to get $25 off and free delivery, but I know that I didn't think about taxes and tip because you're not paying with SNAP, so there would be taxes. And then there's still a tip. So that's an excellent point. And I'm sorry I didn't think of that sooner. Ooh, this is cool. This just popped up for me. Mary says at Wendy's in my area, they're giving free Junior Frosties if you donate even perishable stuff. So that's pretty cool. I know a lot of places are donating to food banks right now, and I'm very grateful for that because we're going to need that extra support. Okay. Yeah, I think you're right, Amanda. I think that it's just overrun right now. Let's see. Oh no, Sherry says they can't find Propel. So Propel is an app that you usually find in the App Store. Let me grab that link for you really quick. They have a download link on their website. So if I send you this, then you should be able to download that on your device. So there you go. All right, Kaylee, can you grab our durable medical equipment link? Okay. Kayla will get this dropped in the comments for you. She's really good at pulling those links, so that's awesome. Let's see. Awakened says, Lasagna Love is great, but the follow-through time is lengthy. We had somebody say they got it within a week. I think it really depends on where you're located. So, yeah. Somebody was saying 6 months, and then somebody else said it only took a week. I think it really depends on where you are. Lisa says, I did the free GoPuff order. Pickup only cost 5 cents for the bag fee. That is awesome. That is the kind of help I was hoping you guys would be able to get. That's fantastic. That makes me happy. I almost clicked on that, but then I saw it was you, Kaylee. Working with my daughter is an interesting experience. All right, so I lost the majority of the chat. So if you have anything else that we needed to highlight, okay, cool. Ooh, this is amazing. MJ says, the Lasagna Love lady contacted me 2 days after I applied. That is fast. That is amazing. The Armchair Cat Advocate says, I got an offer for Instacart for 50% off groceries. That's great to know, too. I know Instacart's had a great SNAP program for a while, so I'll go in and see if I can get the details on that and get that added to our relief list for November as well, because we definitely need more of that help coming in. So we're probably down to just a couple of minutes now because Kaylee's got to go get ready for her live stream on our other channel. So, okay, Cheryl is saying the $50 help on Propel I can't find. So let me pull that for you really quick. So what's going on is I don't know if it's something that strictly you can apply for, but what they're saying is that they are going to be helping people. Let's see, it's down here a little ways. Yeah, so Propel commits $1 million to launch emergency fund to support SNAP households. And what they're doing is they're saying they're sending $50 cash transfers to families who are receiving the maximum SNAP benefit and have, let's see, somewhere in here it says they have to have at least 3 households. Was it in here, I think? Yeah, households of 3 or more who receive the maximum SNAP allotment. So if you're a Propel user and you have at least 3 people in your household and you usually receive the maximum SNAP allotment, then you may be able to get this money. They're still trying to raise more money, and I'm not sure if they're going to then increase the eligibility requirements with that or what they're going to do exactly. But they've said that even if the judge orders the release, it's still going to go out. And they said that they're starting to distribute funds this week. So anyway, that's what we know about that. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Let's see. Okay. You got anything, Kaylee? GoPuff, yes. So GoPuff is a delivery app similar to DoorDash. It's a lot smaller, but they are offering a great deal for people with SNAP. And we've gone over that in some of our other videos recently, but let me see if I can pull this for you really quick. Let's see. Oh. Well, this is the app anyway. And then they had a SNAP offer. Let's see, GoPuff. SNAP offer. Why is it not saved? I had it saved the other day. Good riddance. Okay, yeah. So those are the coupon codes right there. SNAP Relief 1 and then there's SNAP Relief 2. So hopefully that's helpful. I really appreciate all of you guys. And like I said, if you want to be here for what Michaela's going to do, you can just follow that over when this video is ended. Let's see, Red Robin sometimes has $10 meals, bottomless fries and soda. That's an interesting idea. I hadn't thought about that. I know. So earlier today, before all this breaking news went out, I was updating our list of Veterans Day meals because every year there's all these different restaurants and programs that offer free meals for veterans, right? And last year we confirmed 22 and had like 30 more that were suspected, but like they hadn't issued a press release. And so I was combing over that, updating it, and I was shocked by how many companies are not doing that this year. Like so many of them are just backing away from a lot of those offers, and that's really concerning. So yeah, I think Red Robin was still on the list for that too. But if you're a veteran, definitely pay attention to those Veterans Day offers because that's a great chance to get a free meal too. And a lot of restaurants do it. So, I mean, theoretically, you could get a couple of meals that day if you went around. I know the lines are long, but it's free food. So there's that. And then we're still working on our list of free Thanksgiving Day meals as well. A lot of places just aren't making the announcements on the usual schedule this year. And I think it's because of all the uncertainty with the shutdown and everything else. But it's definitely getting concerning, like how little movement we're seeing in those announcements. Because usually by now we have all sorts of stuff that we're finding. So we're digging deep. We're going to find the things. We'll see how it goes. But yeah. Okay, Andrea says, got my GoPuff last night. They only had junk food though, but I'm still grateful. Yeah, anything is better than nothing. And I'm glad that that worked for you. I'm so happy that these things that we're finding are able to help you guys here on this channel. I love hearing those success stories. Yeah. All right. So I gotta go. She's she's gonna go get ready for that live stream. She'll be on. Oh my goodness, you've only got about 15 minutes. So hopefully we'll see you over there on the Hope channel. If not, no worries. I know that you're here for low income relief, so there's never any pressure to go to any of our other channels. But we're going to go set up for that. Thank you for your patience with us today and for sticking with us through this wild roller coaster ride of breaking news where things are just changing so quickly. I know we've all probably got a little bit of whiplash from all the different news that's coming out. I have all sorts of great material prepared for you guys, but we'll continue doing this breaking news to keep you updated as often as it breaks, just so that I know you guys have a trustworthy source of information so that you're not getting misled by any of the other stuff that's out there. I worry about you guys. It's getting harder and harder to know what's true. And even for our research team, which is really scary because we've all been doing this for a really long time. So, alrighty. We are going to sign off for today, but we will be back tomorrow with more ways that you can save money and get free